welcome to the Saturday Morning Block Party Podcast. I'm your host Norbert, and we have a special guest today. Today we're interviewing Pan Pizza, the top cartoon critic on YouTube. He's going to give some advice for people who are just starting to make videos on YouTube. He's also going to tell us a little bit about his involvement with Frederator Studios. And we're also going to discuss whether or not Cartoon Network employees are conspiring to murder him. Enjoy!
I'm Pan Pizza. I make videos online about cartoons and make fun of cartoon characters.
How did you start working for Frederator?
Okay, well, I just made videos online on YouTube, and eventually they just said, hey, you want to join this partner program for YouTube where you make videos and we pay you for it? And that was one of the first people who came onto their thingy.
So what's it like being a part of Frederator? What does that entail?
Okay, well, basically the same as a bunch of other YouTube programs, but the fact that I'm connected to Frederator, to the people who made Adventure Time, Fairy Odd, Shock Zone, Oh Yeah Cartoons, Zone, Oh Face Cartoons, Anal Time, all those shows. It's great. And also, they did allow me to visit Frederator's office this past summer in Los Angeles.
Did they ever mention the Down syndrome joke you made?
No. They probably would mention it somewhere. We don't talk about that joke anymore. Oh yeah, I forgot I made that joke. Yeah, that's one of the worst things I've said. Yeah, although I think my favorite, most disturbing thing I ever said in a video was the whole that scene in the Teen Titans Go side mission where I talk about eating Raven's unborn child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, at one point, you were considering pitching a show to Frederator. So, what's the process for doing that?
Okay, well, I don't really know exactly. I mean, on Frederator's official website, they always just say, "Hey, pitch a show to us here. Submit these things and sign this thing." But I was gonna do that, but then I thought, let me make my comic Loki IRL into a comic first, then see what I'll do about pitching. Because I don't know, I'm kind of paranoid of them stealing elements of the idea of my thing.
And tell us about Loki IRL.
Okay, so basically it's the movie Last Action Hero, except it's if a cartoon supervillain went into the real world. Life, criminals are jerks. This is a terrible place. I got to do something about this. And that's what it's essentially about. Loki is this tall, pointy-nosed, green monster thing who wants to fix the world, and he's partnered with this aspiring cartoonist, Bianca, this short, chubby girl who wants to make cartoons, and her power is to bring cartoons into the real world. But there's a whole lot more to it, but that's the basic gist of it.
And where does Wavebird fit into this?
Oh, Bird's Bianca's friend, and she just owns the video game store that they hang around in, and she's the more responsible one, and basically, is Bianca's boss for her internship. It's not a job, it's an internship, so Bianca's got to learn. She's not going to get paid, but she has to learn. Wavebird's really cheap.
And it's currently on hiatus. Do you have any ballpark estimates on when it's going to be back?
Not really. Now is make a bunch of videos first and then go concentrate on doing Loki IRL, because right now I have 2 videos done ahead of time, and it's like an angry video game nerd movie review, which was a good movie, not great, but really good, but still good, and top 5 failed pilots again, which I want to save that until later, but I want to make a bunch of videos ahead of time. That way I have more free time to do the art.
Okay, what are the biggest mistakes you see from people who make videos on the internet or are just starting to make videos?
Get to the point. Yeah, because I always hate watching YouTube videos where it's just like, hey, this is the blank show, and on this show, we talk about this thing. Now, I don't like to talk about these things, but this is why we're going to talk about it. I just prefer to, just just talk about it already. Just do it. Get to the point.
More advice for people just starting out?
Do whatever you think is funny or interesting, otherwise you're just, guessing what other people will think it's funny or interesting, and that's just hard to comprehend what to do. Just do what you think is funny. Yeah.
You've been making videos for quite a while, and they're a lot different from how they used to be. What do you think you've improved on the most?
Okay, well, first off, editing. Since no idea what I was doing with the audio back then, I didn't know how to properly compress it. So it always some of the audio was always like too high or too low in this several times. But now I just have this program called Levelator, which balances all the audio, so it's a lot smoother. But yeah, always I wanted to have like good editing because I don't know, I kind of feel empty sometimes when I watch like a video and it's just like very basic, just a person talking to the microphone, and they just have and the footage that they're playing is really low quality. It has the stupid Cartoon Network logo in the corner. There's no, they don't cut it up. It's just like they're just playing the episode as they talk. But one thing I really hate is like if you're making a game review and the first thing I see is like game created by Nintendo or something like those opening credits programmed by Neversoft, and you're just talking like there's no editing or cuts already. I know it's going to be bad. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's like edit. I don't want to just like watch a Let's Play, an unscripted review. It's not a review. It's that you're making a Let's Play, not a good one. I think. I don't know.
Now, a lot of people in the cartoon industry are starting to know you. Tell me about that.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, they're like aware of me. I mean, it's like, hey, it's me, Pan Pizza. It's like, oh yeah, it's you. Yeah, I don't know what it's. There was this one time when I was like meeting these two cartoon people, and I'm like, hey, it's me, Pan Pizza. They're like, oh, speak of the devil, we were just talking about you. And I was like, why are they talking about me? And I ask them about that. I ask them why they know me, and they say, yeah, you're that guy who drew us last year. And it's like, that's the only reason you know me by, not something else that I do. I mean, it's not exactly what I'm known for. Because earlier on in that day, I met one of those someone who knows that cartoon person and works on the same show, and I said, hey, can I have a photograph with you? And apparently that person saw that I uploaded that photograph instantly to Tumblr, and then they told those two cartoon people that I met right after I did that. So they were like, yeah, Pan Pizza's here, I guess. And it's like, are you is that really you only know me because I drew you last year, and that's why you're warning someone who works in the TV show as you, that some guy who drew you last year is coming to find you, I guess? Like nothing else you know me by? Because that I can tell they were freaking lying. I don't know why. What is their plan? Are they trying to like make sure I don't like have a conflict of interest where I had to be brutally honest with my reviews, or are they trying to smash my ego? Because I don't know. They're making a trap for me, and they're just pretending they don't know what I've done.
He thought that trip to the guillotine factory was just for fun, but it was the perfect place to shoot him.
Which I don't know. Hey, I like their show, so I don't know why they're mad at me, possibly, or ashamed. They're probably ashamed.
Yeah, I can see why they're ashamed.
Yeah, people are ashamed of me. Oh, speaking of, there was this one time, if you remember the top 10 failed animated pilots and shorts, there was a scene where I snuck in pornography, like a cartoon pornography, into one of the shorts, you know?
Yeah.
And like a major artist reblogged that, and it was like, yeah, they reblogged it for me, and it's so cool because it got over 2,000 notes. And then later on I checked, like, wait, why did they take it down? It's like, oh wait, I know why they took it down. Yeah. I met that person again this Comic-Con, and they just said, oh yeah, there was a scene, I took it down, sorry about that, I took it down because there was that scene. It's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, sorry, we're cool now.
Has anyone threatened to beat you up since Terra Strong?
No. Well, of course you get all the stupid Anon messages and Anon hate. Nothing really, although just like I usually just like get the Anon hate and just like post it on my Tumblr and laugh about it. Like it's some guy with a Sonic icon. He just told me in one video saying this guy's taste in cartoons are crap, and I just replied with, I'm not going to take that from a guy with a Sonic icon. Yeah.
You tell him.
Yeah. His stupid life. What an idiot. Yeah.
Now, a while ago on Tumblr, you tossed around the idea of doing a documentary on Cartoon Network. If you eventually do that, what do you think would be the most interesting things to talk about?
Okay, well, yeah, I kind of decided, like, what's the point of making a big documentary when, if I did do that, major parts of it would just be rehashes of things I've already talked about, like Toonami or the Boston bomb scare. Like, I'm better off making just individual videos that go into full detail instead of so much stuff into one single documentary. Because, like, if I did a major actual documentary, a legit one, then that would require going through so many loops and just, like, contacting Cartoon Networks like, hey, can I use this footage? Yeah, it's like, we don't use the rights to this anymore, so you can't use footage of that. It's like, well, what's the point? Might as well stay as an independent thing and without their knowledge. So no documentary, just might as well make a video on it.
What cartoons made you who you are today?
Okay, well, one of the main factors that made me say that I want to work in a Cartoon Network was 2 in the AM PM. It was made by the guy who made Regular Show, J.G. Quintel, and it was like, wow, this is so low budget and cheap to make, and it felt more down to earth. Like, Regular Show felt more down to earth than it, and it just struck a chord with me, and it was like, I want to make cartoons like this at Cartoon Network. So J.G. Quintel and 2 in the AM PM was like the major factor that made me want to work in Cartoon Network, because before that I was just directionless. I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't know. What was I gonna do?
No, I remember now. Don't worry, dude. I didn't put any weed in this candy. It was acid.
What? Acid? What the f*** is wrong with you?
Any other cartoons that influenced you in a big way?
None that I can think of right now, but like, always thought, that episode of The Simpsons, what's it called? I Am Furious Yellow, where Bart aspired to be a cartoonist because some cartoon guy came to his school and said, look how great it is. I'm so lazy and making cartoons is so easy, which it's not. But the way it made Bart, the way Bart like got famous for making cartoons, it was like, yeah, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. So that was also a good episode of The Simpsons.
Now, what about the time you tried to buy Bubsy? I'm sure we all like to hear about that.
Bubsy, that was a joke on Tumblr. Like, no one remembers that. Basically, I sent a message to, okay, so there's this crappy video game called Bubsy the Bobcat. It's like a Sonic ripoff that nobody liked, and he tried so hard to be cool. He had slogans like, what could possibly go wrong? Isn't life grand? What's a platform game without platforms? A female Millhouse of The Simpsons.
You mean Tina from Bob's Burgers?
I think so. And it was the worst, one of the worst mascots ever since Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel, which that's a real thing. On the Sega Genesis, there's a video game called Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel about a squirrel who crash lands and starts fighting like a ninja, and it's possibly the most offensive Genesis game that I've seen.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Okay, but anyway, like, as a joke, I try to contact the company who owns Bubsy, and then they're no longer around, so I contacted someone else who bought that company and someone else who bought that other company, and that doesn't exist. It turns out someone else already bought the rights to Bubsy. There's already like this, I think, this other video game, this Flash game, someone made it as a joke, Bubsy 3D, like a Flash game version of it, where Bubsy goes to this museum, and so apparently that the person who made that has the actual rights to Bubsy. That person owns Bubsy, whoever that is.
Wow.
And I could go try hunting down, like, I don't know, Plock or some other horrible mascot nobody remembers. Something out there is, I don't know. There's got to be some other horrible mascot that's up for sale for like $2.
Siggy the cigarette.
Siggy the cigarette. Oh, I wonder what Joe Camel's up to now.
Has college helped you at all in your career? Because you talk about hating it a lot and how your videos have gotten you farther.
Yeah, my videos gotten me farther than college. I mean, look, if you really want to get anywhere, college, maybe, I guess, I don't know, but really, you just got to put your stuff out there for people to see, and that's how you get out there instead of just going to college. It's not important going to college. Well, maybe it is if you want. That's cool if you want to. But for me, videos have done way more for me than college ever did, because college has not helped me at all since first in my college. It's just graphic design I'm taking, and currently I'm taking HTML class where you get to learn to program websites.
You pitched you gave your portfolio to Cartoon Network a couple years ago at Comic-Con. How did that go?
Yeah, I was like, check this out. And it's like, yeah. And it was like, yeah, that's nice. Next. So it's basically like whatever. But like the Frederator thing, that's what really got me somewhere, just doing these videos. Like, hey. So yeah, Frederator likes me. Like I did when I went over to Frederator, like, I don't know. It was just me talking with some guy who handles all these pitches and stuff. And we were just talking about animation in general and the history of Frederator. But on my way out, I did run into Natasha Allegri, the creator of Bee and PuppyCat. She was just like, hey, I know this guy. It's Fan Pizza, yeah. His fans keep sending messages to me about that he said hi. That please stop. It's embarrassing me, I guess.
And speaking of Bee and PuppyCat, what do you think of the new design they just showed?
I mean, I don't think they actually shown any footage online of it yet.
I don't think so, but they did post a screenshot or two.
Okay, well,
some character models.
Okay, at San Diego Comic-Con 2014, like I saw a preview of it, and it looks like almost kind of Steven Universe-ish, but like thicker outlines, more of a storybook aesthetic, and it looked way better than the other one. I mean, people are gonna hate at first, but they're gonna grow to love it, just like what happened with Steven Universe.
I don't really like it as much myself, but who knows? Wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, they previewed one episode. It was basically a slice of life episode where Bee goes to the store and she cooks dinner and she starts yelling,
I got you some ice for your crotch! I'm shoving the crotch ice under the door!
Which, okay, like, for some reason, Bee from Bee and PuppyCat yells a lot. I'm like, okay, I'm legitimately concerned right now. Does Bee have, like, Tourette syndrome?
They're trying to get that regular show demographic.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I don't know, but like I think something is wrong with Bee. Something like, I don't know, like, something's there. I kind of want to, oh wait, that's inappropriate for this podcast. But, yeah.
Okay, what are your favorite modern cartoons or cartoons that are currently airing or recently ended?
Clarence and Steven Universe. What else is coming out? What else is here? Well, the Ninja Turtles show, but I haven't seen much of it yet. Though I did watch one episode, something about some bad guy who looks like he came out of Big Trouble in Little China. I think it was the same voice as the villain from that movie, and I love this. I don't know who storyboarded that, but that looked amazing. And I just love whenever CGI 3D things, just like whenever you have a 3D cartoon and into the camera work, like you don't cut as much, you just have the camera following the character around. It just looks more dynamic that way. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but it looks cooler if they just make less cuts and just have the camera follow around.
Yeah, that's something that bothers me a lot, because a lot of the quote-unquote action stuff, and even in action, is close-up, shaky cam, different angles every 2 seconds.
Yeah, Expendables was a terrible movie. Expendables 3, that was a disaster.
And what were your favorite childhood cartoons?
Okay, well, of course, any of the Pokemon knockoffs, like Pokemon, Digimon, and especially Metabots, because I love the idea of just first off, it's robots, and it's this interchangeable parts, and it's going to be like a main inspiration for Loki IRL, like just cartoon characters fighting each other with their partner. Same with Zatch Bell, I guess, although I didn't like Zatch Bell as much. Oh yeah, and also Kubik's Robots for Everyone. That was it's really cheesy, but I just love those. I had the toys of Kubik's, and That Cubics robot was not meant to be a real life toy because it's very easy. It's a very fragile toy since you're supposed to take it apart and transform it, and a lot of things happen when you try to transform it. It just falls apart sometimes.
Yeah, I actually had the Cubics game for PlayStation 1.
Although I remember like on that on like some YouTube video, I just said, yeah, I had the toy of Cubics. It fell apart real easily, and some jerk said, no, it didn't. You probably didn't take care of it. And I just wanted to say, I wish I did this, but I never did. But I wish I just responded with, how dare you? I am 40 years old when I saw that show. I don't need to hear this from a child. I love these toys. These were my only friends when I was. Now my parents kick me out. I'm living in a soup kitchen. I'm 48 years old.
I like to think that a lot of obscure old cartoons have their own equivalent of bronies.
Oh no. Brownie time. Man, you know who I am so horny for My Little Pony right now. God, I just want to have sex with derpy hooves and just tap that ass right there.
Are you still a brony after all these years?
Meh. But it's like the Invader Zim of this generation. It's like, I mean, when it was like 2011, when everyone was into it, it was like, yeah, that place was like, it was like New Orleans on what was that festival? New Orleans on
Mardi
yeah,
Gras.
it was New Orleans, but all this controversy just.
Now, a lot of the shows you talk about from your childhood, Cubics, Pokemon, Metabots, they were all Saturday morning cartoons. And something I just recently found out is that the last Saturday morning cartoon block, which is the Vortex, formerly known as CW4 Kids, formerly known as Kids WB, is ending on September 27th, and that'll be the end of Saturday morning cartoons. How do you feel about that?
It's ogre. I mean, I think the last great Saturday morning block was like, I think 2 years ago when we had the beginning of Legend of Korra, Young Justice was still going, Green Lantern, My Little Pony was still good. Like, it was a lot. That was a good Saturday morning, like the last good so far. But everything went to hell. And Vortex, I never watched Vortex, but don't they just have like constant, endless reruns of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Sonic X, and whatever was on 4Kids?
No, last time I checked, they had some pretty good stuff, including Justice League Unlimited.
Oh yeah, but I think it was like a cut down version of Justice League.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I remember it was like censored, but I guess it's just like Saturday morning cartoons. It's not as important as it was like in the 90s, because like back then there wasn't really, well, long before that, there wasn't really a whole channel dedicated to kids. There wasn't like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon 24 hours of kids networks. Back then it was just like kids get this one block and that's basically it for them. And eventually over time the specialty of that started to go away with like just like channels getting programming for kids now. So it's not real. And also like so early on Saturday when you can like maybe watch it online or buy the DVD, get it on Hulu or Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, internet ruins everything.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Now, if you could be on the creative team for any cartoon in history, which would you choose?
Well, in history, well, if I'm going for one that's going on currently, I'd like to be on the show Clarence.
Yeah, that's a really charming show.
Yeah, I mean, I fully understand the aspect of this show and this whole nostalgia-based series that relies on childhood rather than just like pop culture references. There are some pop culture references, but the show doesn't like solely rely on that for its nostalgia value.
Yeah.
But for any show in history, it has to be like anything that has it where I can design cool designs for it. Any sort of like trading card thing. I mean, I would love Loki IRL is going to be partially something where there's a trading card aspect to it. I mean, I don't know what the game of it is because I think someone came up with the idea before me. It was something along the lines of Cards Against Humanity, but they call it Story Wars, where it's like, which character would win against this? And it was like, that was my idea, you bastard. Well, it's something like that. But I just wanted an excuse to draw a whole bunch of characters.
Well, since you're such a big fan of these collectible trading card type TV shows, have you noticed that a lot of the newer ones, the character designs have just gone crazy? Like in the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, the character designs would be like, yeah, he's wearing a t-shirt, jacket, and jeans, but now it's like he's got jacket and straps and hoodies and zippers and one sleeve torn off.
Oh man, there's this. Already Yu-Gi-Oh! Was ridiculous, but I don't know. Is that still going on?
Yeah. I'm not sure what the new one is called. And it's not just Yu-Gi-Oh! It's other shows like Pokemon, Beyblade, whatever. Any type of Japanese collectible toy or card TV show.
One I should really get around to reviewing was this thing that they show on YouTube legally. It's called Super Card Buddy Fight, which already sounds like something somebody made up in like... It sounds like one of those made-up TV shows you watch on it. Like you're watching a cartoon and the character says, I can't talk right now, I'm watching Super Card Buddy Fight. That sounds so made up. But it's like it's so freaking lame. I gotta review that because the first episode alone was just ridiculous. Like there's this first is this one kid who has freaking hover shoes and he goes fights adult criminals with his card game. And I guess people fight using cards instead of fists, I guess. It's terrible. It's amazing.
I can't wait for the very special episode when somebody figures out what a gun is.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, if only.
Yeah. I was at a convention and somebody handed me the starter pack for Card Fight, Buddy Fight, whatever, and I haven't opened up the decks since.
Man, that'll probably be like worth $700 in a couple of years.
What's in your portfolio? Trading cards?
Oh yeah, I mean, my portfolio now, since I carry everything digitally through my iPad, is just covered in like art by other people and a bunch of stickers that I got and pins. I don't know what to do with all this stuff. Like having a sticker, that's a commitment because you're like, you got to choose where to put that sticker and how long, and you got to think about how long that sticker is going to.
You should just watch Mabel's Guide to Stickers. That'll help you out.
Yeah, if only Mabel... if only stickers were like repealable. That'd be so convenient.
Well, thank you for that very excellent business idea.
Yeah, stickers.
Okay, so what would you like to plug?
Okay, well, basically just the YouTube, rebeltaxi.com / I don't know. Just look up Rebel Taxi and you'll find me. I mainly post videos there, and then I also hang out on my Tumblr, pan-pizza.tumblr.com, like pan pizza, but there's a dash between pan and pizza. That's where I hang out and answer questions and talk. Also, although if you catch me like late at night on that blog, it's me saying all these horrible things that I'm probably going to regret in the morning.
It's true. I can confirm that.
By the way, if you ever think about drawing like someone else's character falling down a flight of stairs, and if you think that's funny, like, yeah, sometimes that's the hard way where you learn, like, not everyone has the same messed up mentality as you, because when I did that and the artist found that, I was like, I didn't mean it. Oh God, I screwed up. It seemed like a funny idea. Yeah, don't draw those things. You gotta, maybe in your head, you gotta come up with a record of people who have the same messed up mentality as you do. I mean, I'm sure people who worked on like Invader Zim or Steven Universe have a messed up mind. They seem to promote it on their show with how crazy that is.
And Pan Pizza also hosts a bi-weekly podcast called the Pizza Party Podcast. It is amazing. The last episode they were talking about I'm sorry.
I can't believe they're still making Garfield. His only claim to fame is that, I'm lazy.
I hate Mondays.
God, I'm such a loser, deadbeat god.
Why am I not dead yet? Holy, how many lasagnas so I can eat? die already. Jesus.
Why hasn't Heathcliff killed me yet? Already, that was a terrible thing. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Rest in peace, Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray, you idiot.
And that was my conversation with Pan Pizza. It was really fun talking to him. I remember the first time I ever watched his videos was on a night when I was waiting for my friend to call me back when she was talking to her boyfriend, and I watched Pan Pizza videos until 3 a.m. Which, once you get to know Pan Pizza, that seems like a very appropriate way to be introduced to him. I used clips from The Simpsons, from Bee and PuppyCat, and from 2 in the AM PM. And yes, those were the voices of Mordecai and Benson. That very last clip at the end about Garfield being depressed, that was from Pan Pizza's Pizza Party podcast. It is a great podcast. I highly recommend you listen to it. I have links for all of that, plus the music, in the description. Please remember to subscribe to us. We are the Saturday Morning Block Party Podcast. We are on iTunes. We are on Stitcher. Please give us 5-star ratings and reviews. We need it, please. And we're also on social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter, but we are by far most active on Tumblr. During the week between episodes, we reblog GIFs and pictures, fan art of different cartoons, and also a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff and analysis of different cartoons. So please follow us there too and tell your friends. We'll see you again next week. Thank you for listening. Bye.